Dinarland from Dinar Updates, KTFA, and others. From Agidad77. Article, keywords, cash reserve is reassuring for the next 5 years. Quote, it has received praise from specialized international organizations, and the reserve is calculated by the Central and the International Monetary Fund does not accurately raises concern for the next 5 years. Why would Iraq's central bank reserves be considered by not only themselves but the IMF for the next 5 years, may I say deal, because of what has been agreed upon that perhaps we do not yet see. But what you do see is perhaps not all of the picture. Remember boatloads of money coming into Iraq a short while ago, many things doubled, oh but that was a tip of the iceberg. In my opinion the IMF and others can see the full iceberg and know it is not global warming that is shrinking anything, it is global agreements that in fact are growing the iceberg, and that growth will soon stimulate an explosion that will catch our world as we know it in a shocking but oh so positive surprise. Wait for it, for in my opinion, the best is coming. From Loop. Article quote, the signing of the agreement represents an important signal to the international arena that Iraq is committed to all the rules of transparency in international arbitration in case of dispute between the investors and the states, and expressed hope that Iraq is essential to attracting capital and center. Huge step forward to open the doors to the wall of investors. It's right out of Article 22 of the Investment Law. Article 22. The foreign investor shall enjoy additional privileges in accordance with international agreements signed between Iraq and his country or multilateral international agreements which Iraq has joined. At KTFA. From McDan, FYI. A $3.20 exchange rate would equal to a $2.37 SDR holding rate on the IMF charts for SDR holding rates approximate IMO. From Agidad77, all in my opinion, there has to have been some agreements reached, big agreements, they wouldn't talking new loans if they haven't given the IMF what they want, in the strongest of opinions here, their game has to be up, IMO, oh buddy, what will you do next, what was agreed upon this past weekend, winds of change, they be blowing, our way, in my opinion, the best is coming. Aloha Randy. From Sampson, the Washington Institute for Trump, Iraq and the best partner relations with a fantastic deal. The Washington Institute for Trump, Iraq and the best partner relations with a fantastic deal. Report of the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, said that the importance of the great interests between the United States and Iraq are greater than the risk of failure. And the birthplace of Michael Knights, the owner of the report to his advice by addressing the U.S. President Donald Trump in a statement, which reiterated its argument echoed repeatedly, that the United States might have been compensated for the costs of the Iraq War if captured Iraqi oil one way or another. And he stopped the writer also at the beginning of his report, titled, Memorandum of Trump, Iraq is far from a failure, to sign Trump 6 days after his statement above an executive order banning whereby the entry of Iraqi citizens into the United States for 90 days, including thousands of translators and others Iraqis who risked their lives in the fighting alongside American soldiers in Iraq. The report spoke, in an exhibition review of the importance of Mesopotamia to the United States, that the country is on the fourth contains the largest population density in the Middle East. If fed up with the suffering of the 23 million citizens in Syria, or if you worry about the influx of displaced people as a safe haven for terrorists inside the country, try to imagine how the situation would be much worse if it added 36 million Iraqis to the equation. The American researcher record also includes Iraq, the largest oil reserves in the world's fifth. Imagine if this wealth in the hands of anti-Western regime. And provided open memo advising the new U.S. president, urging him on the need to understand that American partnership al-Iraq are simply fantastic deal. And if he was looking for a partner that supports American targets, but most of the costs borne by himself, you will not need to look for his Iraq over the past 2 years. It reported that the United States has directly spent on the Iraq war against DACE $2.7 billion as a credit for military financing foreign, pointing out that this basic American contribution is in fact a loan for the purchase of U.S. military equipment, which helps U.S. industry and the Iraqi army alike. The report predicted that Iraq becomes a rich, led by moderates strong economy where it can be for U.S. companies to compete on a level playing field, he said, adding that the U.S. engineering giant General Electric had announced the signing of a deal worth US $1.4 billion to develop the electricity sector in Iraq, along with several other, of mega deals, which the United States serving in various sectors such as defense and energy. From Agidad 77, did you hear Monty Hall was in the building? Let's make a deal. Could he be Trump's brother-in-law? Deal here, deal there. Deals are the new buzzword of the week, it seems. Sometimes we don't completely understand what a person says, or know all the facts to understand why they made a particular statement. There is our underlying rip currents in Trump's statement about Iraqi oil. In my opinion, he's casting bricks at the glass house that was built over the past several years that didn't do much in the way of with or for Iraq. Simply stated, he knows we are owed money and he's getting the attention that he knows is needed to further listen to his plans and act upon his wishes. Sort of like walking into the boss office and getting your butt chewed and walking out with a smile, and how he did it. He's pushing a great deal, for a vast number of people, entities, and countries. Watch for it. The best is yet to come, Mo. Aloha Randy. APMCRX, the Washington Institute report to Trump on Iraq. And this is what is stated. Baghdad/Sky Press gave Washington Institute for Near East Policy report to President Donald Trump on relations with Iraq, stressing the importance of the big interests between the United States and Iraq are greater than the risk of failure. Michael Knights, author of the report entitled, Note for Trump, Iraq is far from a failure. It is necessary to understand the Trump-US-Iraq partnership is simply a great deal. If he was looking for a partner that supports US goals but bears most costs himself, he won't need to look for in Iraq over the past 2 years. The Knights, that the United States is directly spent on the war in Iraq against the day's $2.7 billion as a credit for military financing foreign, pointing out that this basic American contribution is actually a loan to buy American military equipment, which helps U.S. industry and the Iraqi army on both. The report predicted that Iraq will become rich, moderate-led, a strong economy where American companies can compete on a level playing field, adding to the giant American engineering company GE was declared about signing a deal worth $1.4 billion to develop the electricity sector in Iraq, along with several other mega deals that serve the United States in various sectors such as energy and defense. From Agidad 77, some people do understand what Trump is doing and see the end results in a positive light, especially when one works on the Iranian aspect of Iraq. Push them out and keep them out. Iraq is ridding itself of terrorists, let that include Iran as well. Sweet deals are being made, that LL, the long line. They are starting to smile at the deals they see, their hands are out, sort of like the old land rush days of Oklahoma. Get on your camel, get ready, the best is coming, Mo. Aloha Randy. From Frank 26. On the early dawn on Sunday, something dramatic happened for our investment. Deals are going on, happening so fast, out of nowhere. All of these countries want to make deals. Security and stability is really the key all over the world right now, and it all starts in Iraq. If people want to make deals, to include China and North Korea, so that things are fair, that is astonishing. Deals are being made for everyone that's in the long line, those that want to play on an even playing field, equal and fair trade. Time is up. And that's why we have deals that are being made. Deals will fatten Iraq's reserves, fuel their future. Mo, over the weekend, these deals were triggered off, all from a phone call. The call, Trump to Abadi. A new deal was born. And that's probably why we haven't seen the MR yet. Trump is a master negotiator, and as a holder of IQD, you should be thrilled about that. Trump says to Abadi, go to Germany, talk to those in the long line, tell them to invest in your country. Tell you citizens that the full assault on Mosul will begin this Sunday. 7. American bases in Iraq, we, USA, are not going anywhere. This is the beginning to the end of all of Mosul, and in about 2 weeks, it could be less. Mosul is being completed at a much faster pace. This is the full-on assault for the MR monetary reform. Is it Iraq's choice to wait for Mosul for the RV? No, it's not Iraq's choice. We, USA, are not the only players in Iraq. IMF, UN, BIS, WB, etc. Iraq has its feet being held to the fire by those involved in the MR. At Dinar Updates. Loop article, keywords, private banks, their performance distinctive and are satisfied with it. Alak came out today punching the media for misreporting. He is saying, out of 60 private banks only 2 or 3 are not where they should be and they are currently work with them to correct this. Earlier in the week a MP on the Finance Committee came out with the figure that the CBI reserves are $40 billion and Alak came out today saying that the reserves are $49 billion and that they are well within international accepted standards. In addition the reserves cover the local currencies by a large margin. It's important to note that most countries in the world only have enough reserves to cover their currency by 10%. Iraq can currently cover their currency by over a 100%